Hello Pisces, this is a timeless weekend quickie for you, even though that sounds contradictory because timeless and weekend, sometimes I just like to do these quick readings, even though so far today it hasn't worked for me because they always get much longer than I want them to be. Like I want them to be like 8 minutes or something or 5 minutes, but then they sometimes turn out to be 20. Okay, I'm gonna give it another try. So, anything else to say? I'm using my own tarot cards. I call them the medieval oracle cards. And yes, another thing I like to point out is that the reason why I prefer timeless readings is that I have made this experience so often with visions and tarot readings that often they are showing us something, and on one level it makes sense to us and it somehow resonates, but it hasn't really manifested or materialized in our life, but it's something on our mind, and sometimes it just takes several months, weeks, even years until this reading truly resonates. Also, I'm not just a tarot reader, I'm also a psychic, and it's just an example. But as a child, I saw the apartment I would live in 25 years later in a completely different city that was far away from the village where I grew up. And at that time, at that age, I was so small, I couldn't even know that one day I would move there. And I saw all the details of this apartment, and this is just as an example that sometimes when we have visions, there's not always a clear timestamp, not always, they are not in a clear time frame, so I just like keeping these readings open, which also doesn't mean that it cannot resonate with you at this moment. And it could also just partially resonate, as I said, like it's something that you have on your mind, but it will take time until it really shows up in your life, you know what I mean? So this reading reminds me very strongly of another reading for another sign that I just did a while ago. Not a while ago, but just, some hours or minutes ago. Was it Capricorn? I don't know for sure. But it has a very similar topic. I am seeing that you might receive some unexpected, either money or just something else material. It doesn't feel like a gift in that sense that it is like a pullover or, something that is very fixed. It feels more like something that can still be changed or transformed or invested, and so it most likely is money because you can then spend it on whatever you want, and it's not a fixed presence. It could also be, if it's not money, in your case, another kind of support. It could also be a regular payment. It could be something social if you applied, for some unemployed money, or it's your pension, or maybe something terrible happened to you and there's like a fund that helps people to whom something like this happened, and something like that. For a few of you, it could also be that you already received this money, but now, like, due to a change in some law, this amount increases. But that's only for a few of you. And I feel like for many it could be a regular increase that is coming, even if it's just very small. And For those for whom it is not something regular, it could just be a one-time thing. But what I'm feeling really drawn to point out is, and what mainly reminds me of the reading I did for the other sign, there is something here that is showing me that you do not inwardly completely accept this money. I mean, you do accept it. Also, if it's something, I mean, it could be so many, it feels very official, like something legal or official. And it could be that you might feel like you don't deserve this, and that's what is so similar to the other signs reading. Or that you think it's a little bit too much. I know many people don't have this kind of mindset because they think they always deserve the most and the best of everything, but you know, not all people are this way. And it could even come a little bit as a shock to you. And if it's something social, if it's like a social help, kind of help that is coming to you in forms of money, then also another reason why you don't really like this money is because it's like, I don't know the English word for that. You know, it's just... So I'm trying to find another way to express what I mean when something is just coming out of pity and because you're a victim of something. And maybe you will not like this feeling attached to the money that comes. Like usually we are happy when we have more money than before, but in this case, like on one hand you are happy, but on the other hand, I feel like you could be wishing that this money could be coming out of other reasons. Maybe, you know, you prefer to be successful with something or to have an increased income at work because someone notices your talent or appreciates you and then increase the payment. So we would often prefer this kind of success rather than, you know, getting money out of pity or because something happened to us or we are a victim of something. Or, you know, it could also be in a legal case, maybe someone ran over you and did something to your leg, to your health, and then they have to, I also don't know the English expression for this, but you know what I mean. Then they have to pay you some compensation money. You know, we usually would prefer that everything is going well in life and we are not being victimized in some way or in the need of receiving some social aid. We would prefer that, you know, we are successful with something and take care of ourselves. I think most people would prefer that. Maybe not everyone, but there's a taste of this in this reading. But I feel like, you know, what you have to learn is to be like a queen, even if you're a man, like this queen. I think there's a task, like a life lesson here in this situation, in this scenario, about, you know, just keeping your head up, keeping your crown up, even if you receive this money as a social act out of pity somehow. That you do not let that degrade yourself. Like, things can happen to people, you can become victim of something, you can be weak sometimes, you can have a lot of bad luck and still be a great person. And I think there is just this lesson or this opportunity of learning to still feel dignified and strong and proud, even though being in a situation where you might need help or, you know, others perceive that you might need help and they will just offer it, you know. I hope that makes sense to someone. And there's the outcome or the understanding, and it's also, yes, it's the same card that we had. It was in another, it was placed on another spot, but it's so similar to the other reading. There is just something that you have to learn about. Either, the goblin is like a devilish creature, and it could be for you just a metaphor for your own inner self-doubts. But it could also be an actual presence in your life, like, some demonic kind of person, someone who constantly talks bad about you into your face, someone who always downgrades you, tells you you're not competent enough, not intelligent enough, not strong enough, you're too weak, you're not pretty enough, you're not blah, 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 blah. Someone like that. And some people do that very directly, and others do that very indirectly, like completely in kind and dry words, but it's such a slow burn that you will just realize after 3 days that it was really bad what they said to you. I don't know how people can do that, but some people seem to have that talent in quotes, to say something to your face and you will just realize like days later that it was actually very degrading. And so this card could just stand for someone in your life who is like that towards you, or it could just be a metaphor for your inner voice that keeps telling you that you are unworthy, that you are bad, because whatever this is that happened to you, that now, or even feeling guilty that if you became a victim of something and now someone is financially supporting you, that you might feel like you are in some kind of victim mentality now, and you might feel like you're exploiting something or someone or someone's benevolence, you know what I mean? Just this guilt around this whole topic, that's what this goblin can represent. And I think that it is something that you are supposed to go through, something that you are supposed to learn about and to realize. I also feel like this magician here also comes into play. I don't always include the bottom of the deck, but sometimes I feel pulled to. And I feel actually pulled to several cards. Let me stop. No, it's just, it all makes so much sense. Some of these cards, they can come up in a negative way, but they all feel quite, supportive right now. There's still something there. I feel like these people could be like the magician and the king. They could be like professional people that either help you or just are in your environment somehow and have a lot of wisdom about a certain topic. The white dragoness, she could also represent a very wise and mature woman that is very aware of what you're going through, someone who's very empathetic and social, but yet also very distant and professional. Then there we have the horse card, which often represents in my deck friendship. And I feel like even though these people are very distant and professional, they are very friendly. We have the Fortuna card, and I just, usually I don't include all those bottom of the deck cards, but sometimes I'm just, right now I feel pulled to it. There is just something about this financial aid again. So I hope it resonates with someone out there. Thank you so much for watching.